3:05 p.m. Monday, and Rocket Lab quietly launched New Zealand's first operational satellite into space from Mahia Peninsula, but only revealed its success today. The Photon satellite that's now in orbit is nicknamed First Light, a nod to the rocket's name, the elementary particle that is a quantum of light, and the East Coast, which is the first to see the sunrise each morning. The successful launch is the first since Rocket Lab lost a spacecraft in July during the second stage burn. Company founder Peter Beck says they did this one on the down low because they wanted to make sure things went smoothly.
Well, we wanted to make sure that the spacecraft was going to operate nominally first and get to a point where we can check out all of its systems, and then once we're happy with it, then it was time to tell the world about it.
So what was different about this launch?
Yeah, so this launch was started off, pretty similar to any other launch. We deployed our customer satellite into, a nominal orbit, and then, approximately an hour later after we did that, we sent a command to the rocket, or the bit of the last remaining bit of the rocket in orbit, and that command transitioned the rocket from being basically a piece of space junk into a satellite.
And what's it for? What can it do?
Yeah, it's a really interesting platform. So basically, the way we look at space is, it's really difficult to get there. So we solved that problem with the rocket, and then the next problem is it takes teams of people and many millions of dollars and sometimes many years to build a satellite that would provide something like communications, weather, internet, things like that, and it's just really painful exercise. So what we've done here is we've created a platform that enables customers to just come to us and say, hey, look, we want to put internet into this country. And we go, okay, and do everything from start to finish, from the launch through the satellite, through to operating the satellite and providing the ultimate service.
So this particular satellite, does it take pictures?
This particular satellite is a technology demonstrator. So there's a lot in a spacecraft. A spacecraft or a satellite, there's a lot of things. You have to generate power from the sun, obviously, and store power and control it. There's torque rods to align to the Earth's magnetic field, reaction control systems to move around, communication systems to get the telemetry down. And in this case, yes, we had a little camera on the side just for taking nice photos. But really, the purpose of the satellite is to show the utility and the robustness of the particular machine. So it's ready to receive whatever sensor or system that our customers require.
So what launch number was this? Was it 14?
That's 14, correct. Yep.
14. Okay, so you're developing a reusable launch vehicle, aren't you? And is that going up at launch number 17?
Yeah, that's correct. So currently we're the fourth most frequently launched rocket in the world. And by reusing the first stage, it enables us to be able to fly even more and produce more rockets and get more of our customers' satellites into orbit. So it's been a pretty big program for us, and Flight 17 is really a big test of that system.
And so what does that mean in real terms if you achieve that a reusable launch vehicle?
Yeah, but basically every time you fly, except for one launch vehicle in the world, they're all expendable. So, the first stage is an enormous, piece of the launch vehicle. And to be able to get that back, what it essentially means is, for us, if we want to double production, for example, all we need to do is get the rocket back once, and we've effectively doubled production. So, and you can appreciate there's thousands of hours of work go into every single rocket.
How confident are you of achieving that when you've got, 3 more launches, which doesn't seem like many, to get it done?
Well, look, to be honest, this is the first attempt. We've we have re-entered 2 rockets through the atmosphere successfully to date, and that is a very tricky thing. To give some context there, we're travelling at around about 8.5 times the speed of sound, and we go from 8.5 times the speed of sound to sort of 50 kilometres an hour in the space of 70 seconds. So, there's enough energy created re-entering that you could, power a city block for half a day. So there's a tremendous amount of energy that you have to dissipate. So we cracked that one. The next one
you have to
can we get it
haul the brakes on, Peter, basically, in the last little bit. You have to really throw out the handbrake.
Yep, yeah. And, energy is always conserved. So all the energy that you've spent getting up to velocity and altitude, you have to turn that back into heat as you re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. So this is a non-trivial thing, and we expect it will take us a number of attempts to get it right. But, Flight 17 is the first one that we're actually going to try and put back in the factory.
So when you gave us the league table just before, which puts you right up there with the number of launches, who are you kind of competing with? Who are the others who are top of the table?
So in our class of launch vehicles, so that's a small launch vehicle, we are the only commercial small launch vehicle in the world right now. We don't have really too many competitors in that class. We do compete with the larger launch vehicles where they aggregate lots of satellites onto a large launch vehicle. The pecking order goes China with the Long March, Russia with the Soyuz, America with the Falcon 9, and then Rocket Lab with Electron, and then it goes Europe, Japan, and India, and so forth.
It's pretty amazing.
Well, we're not done yet. This launch is a great thing, but really, this moving into satellites for us is a far bigger opportunity, in fact, and ultimately serves to solve a much larger problem.
So tell me, what kind of effect has the pandemic had on business, if any?
Of course, it's had a huge effect to everybody. We run factories all around the world. So we have a factory in Canada, a factory in America, and obviously a factory in New Zealand. And in America, our factory's been able to sort of soldier on through, unscathed pretty much. In New Zealand, obviously, we live through the lockdowns, and we try and launch every month. So if you can't launch, then it's a huge effect not only to us but to our customers. Well, we wanted to make.
Is Rocket Lab founder Peter Beck there